Do you want to be your own boss, have control of your own destiny, potentially create financial freedom for yourself and your family? Well, watch this valuable video to the end, and I'm going to tell you a few things that you really need to know. But please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, ring that bell so that other people can see this video as well, because I think you're going to find it very helpful. At least I hope so. So let's get right to it. 10 things to do to become an entrepreneur. These are just a few of the things that I'm going to cover in this video to come, okay? The first thing is to learn to self-motivate. So dig deep inside yourself to discover your motivation. Do you want to get a new car? Do you want to get a fleet of cars? Do you want to be able to help the hungry? What is your motivation? Find what that motivation is and really focus in on that, because that's going to be your carrot. Wake up early. And I'm not saying that you got to wake up at 5 a.m., but 6, 7 a.m. because you get more things done throughout the day. Make a to-do list and execute it daily. So when you write something down, you tend to commit to it and execute those things more than if you just had it in your head. Now you can use a tablet, or you can use a piece of paper like I do, which is basically an index card. And as you go through it, you got to cross out the things that you do on a daily basis. And every time during the day that you have an idea of something that you think you need to do in order to move closer to your goals, or even just to stay afloat, write it down on your to-do list, execute it, and then cross it out, and then you can feel good about yourself. My motivation is to create a long-term legacy for my family and to help other people. When you get to the point where you actually have wealth, you can actually help other people. You can be creative in ways that you can't be unless you have the finances to do it. And I'm not talking about artistically creative. I'm talking about being able to help people in certain ways. That way you can do that with money. By the way, write a comment below and tell me what motivates you. I'll get back to you. Okay, next, save your money. Make sacrifices. You don't have to buy that extra pair of sneakers. You know what I mean? You could save your money and go for bigger ticket items, because in order to create wealth and in order to get off the hamster wheel, so to speak, you have to save money so that you can buy, let's say, a piece of real estate or invest in your business. Then you will generate even more money. But if you are short-sighted and you spend too much money up front, you're not going to have the money to make those investments that are going to get you to a better position and a higher tier in your life. Don't spend more than what you make, so have a budget. Maybe you can write it down, go to the bank, talk to the banker, maybe they can help you budget your money. Don't drive your net worth down the street, which is basically the same thing what I'm saying. Sometimes you see young people or whoever, they spend all their money on that really fancy car. I love cars too. You see in the picture there, that's my car. But I didn't buy that car until I knew that I could buy that car. I saved my money to get that car. I could have gotten a few, Hondas, and which are nothing wrong with that, Toyotas along the way, which I did. But I sacrificed to get that car. That I had to do a lot of work to get that car. Okay, have a goal and stick to it. Keep your eye on the prize. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and hit that bell below. When you do that, it ranks the video better, and people will see it, and everybody wins, because I think they're gonna get value out of this video. So, learn how to sell. Uh-oh, I misspelled know your product. Sorry about that. No, I was using voice dictation. Know your product and what makes it unique. That's your unique selling proposition. What is unique about your product? If you look at this picture, that's one of my pizzeria restaurants. You can see that it's unique. I trademarked the word jazzeria. The branding is somewhat unique, and it's a jazz-themed pizzeria. So that's the unique selling proposition, or at least that could be one of them. But you have to know what it is in one sentence, what it is that separates you from the rest and lets everybody know exactly what you are. Okay, be passionate and speak honestly about it. It's always best to be passionate about what you do. If you're a mechanic, If you're, by the way, I also believe if you're going to be a mechanic, you should own the shop. If you're going to, have a garbage, if you're going to be a garbage man, you should own the garbage truck. But again, going back to being passionate, be passionate about what you do, because then you're going to do a better job at it and you can speak honestly about it. Have a story with specifics. When I talk to people about my pizza business or my music business or my real estate business, I have stories I can tell. Stories about, how I got my start in it, we all have our stories. If you don't have a story, create the story. Start living life. Go out there and create your own stories. Everybody's got them, so don't worry. If you don't have it now, you'll get it. It's a process. And then, of course, taking a course, an online course or in a school, but especially this course that I'm going to have in the description below. That course, that's the reason why you're watching this video and why I'm able to do what I'm doing, is because I took a course. It's called Entre, which is short for entrepreneur. It's called the Entre Institute, and it will give you all the tools that you need very quickly to learn what you need to learn to have an online business. And that's a great way to start your business, by the way. And not even start, that's a great way to have your business. Okay, work for an entrepreneur or a mentor. So that's my dad. I started working for him when I was a little kid. I used to stand on a crate to make pizza at his pizza place in Connecticut, and it's actually still there. And my dad is still around. He's one of my inspirations and mentors. I love him dearly. But going back to you, observe and ask questions of your mentor. So if you're working someplace or and you happen to admire your boss, hang around with him. You gotta tell him the truth. Tell him, be transparent, or him or her. Say, look, I really want to learn how to be my own boss. I want to be independent. I want to create my own opportunities and have options for myself. I really like what you're doing. I see the way you're moving around, the way you act, the way you talk. I want to learn how to do that. Is it possible for me to just kind of shadow you sometimes, or maybe get together with you for a cup of coffee, or just, give me some extra tasks so I can learn what's going on behind the curtain and what makes you tick, what makes the business tick. And the next point is be your better self. Be your super ego. All of us have that side in us that we can maybe put a little more salt on to enhance a little bit more of that flavor of our better self. Maybe you might draw on whatever morals and values you have for wherever they come from, and accentuate those. Just be a better person, be kinder, and try to be smarter, try to be a harder worker. The next point is work hard and make an impression. Opportunities may come. Basically, when you're working hard and you have your eyes open and the luck comes your way, obviously, then you'll be able to capitalize on that opportunity. But if you're not working hard and you're not showing up and the luck comes your way, it's going to pass right by you. And that's another reason why you should save your money, because then when the luck comes, let's say an opportunity comes where you can buy into a business or make an investment into some type of an investment, then you have the money to do it and you're ready to do it. In my case, for example, as a musician, I always surrounded myself with better musicians because they would help me to bring my A game. So you want to do that, okay? Proximity is important. Network, and okay, the next one, number 5, build relationships, network with people, and have contacts, which are basically the same thing as relationships. You want to show up. Make appointments with successful people. Be in proximity with successful people. By the way, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, you can learn this in the Entre Institute in the course that I'm promoting in the description below. So check that out. But you want to make appointments with people and show up. So let's say somebody says, hey, you say, hey, listen, so-and-so, John, I really admire the way you run your business. Can we get together sometime and maybe have a cup of coffee and just kind of shoot the breeze? And it says, yeah, how about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning? Okay, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, that's really early, right? Maybe you don't normally wake up at that time, but if you have to, you have to. And you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to show up like a soldier. You know what I mean? Always offer your help, resources, and support as a gesture of goodwill. Whenever I talk to anybody else in the business world or even in the personal world, whether they're a businessman or they don't have a business, I very often, if not always, say, listen, if there's anything I can do for you, anything that I can offer you, my resources are that I'm an entrepreneur. I understand some things about business, particularly about the restaurant business, real estate business, music business. Those are where those are my wheelhouses. And I'm an inventor as well. If there's anything I can do to help you with that, and also this affiliate marketing and this online business, if there's anything I can do to help you, if you have any questions, just call me, text me, whatever. I'm here for you, and I appreciate your support and whatever you're doing for me as well. Okay, I also get together with people weekly for coffee or lunch to talk about business and to compare notes. You gotta show up. So let's move on, shall we? Number 6, work 80 hours per week or more. Now, some of you might think that working less and working smarter and not harder, I think you should do both. But you know what? Comment below and tell me what you think. Do you think that you should, what is your opinion about that? Is working 80 hours per week foolish, or do you think it's a good idea? I personally think it's a good idea for a number of reasons. First of all, you're going to hone your skills on whatever it is that you're working at. You're going to make more money. You're going to stay out of trouble because your head is going to be in the game of whatever you're doing, and you're going to become an expert at it. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. That's the first bullet point there, right? In order for a musician to get really good to the point where they can get to Carnegie Hall, they have to practice hours a day for years by themselves and be disciplined. So that's another key word, discipline. Bullet point number 2, wake up early. Sacrifice time with friends if you have to. Your friends say, hey, we're going to go out, tomorrow night, or we're going to get together today. We're going to hang out, or say, you know what, you got to budget your time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun and hang with your friends, because you do. You have to have a life. Otherwise, you're not going to be a completely rounded person. But you do have to sacrifice certain things in your life. Maybe you can't watch that movie right now. I was supposed to be watching a movie right now with my wife, but I very nicely said, hey, listen, can we watch the movie a little bit later? I have some work to do. I have to make a video. Okay, when you are creating a business, you have to put the work up front, and you have to also continue to put work throughout the life of that business to maintain it and to nurture it and to grow it. However, you definitely need to put a lot of work up front. When I opened up my pizzeria, my restaurants, I would spend an awful lot of time there, especially with the first 1 or 2, and I would hang out there a lot all day long until I got them started up and I got them automated to the point where I had managers in place, and I would take care of them and they would take care of me, and everybody was happy. But you got to do it that way. I have real estate. When I have to find tenants, I put the work up front. I get the building leased out, and then once I have leases in places, I can kick back a little bit and I can still put work in, but not the same amount of work output that you would put in the beginning when you're getting everything set up. Why don't you write a comment below and tell me what you think? Do you think it's better to work harder or smarter? I'm curious to know what you think. I'll get back to you. Here's another one. Research, study, and learn. Go to seminars. Take the Entre course that's down below that I have in the description below. This is me with my wife, the blonde, and one of the representatives of a product that I use at my restaurants, Dina, and we're at a seminar. Every year I go to Las Vegas, and I go to the restaurant expo, the pizza expo they call it. I go because I want to stay on top of my game. I want to learn all the new tricks. I want to talk to people, make connections. Okay, follow social media forums. Basically the same thing. If you go onto Facebook forums, look for those groups of businesses that are in your niche, in your category, and go on there. Try to ask questions, try to absorb things, get trade magazines of the things that you're interested in, whatever it is. Immerse yourself in it. Research on YouTube, books, anywhere and everywhere. And sometimes if I have to research something, or if I need a gut check, or I need to find out the answer to something, I'll just call up a good friend that I know that might have the answer to that. Maybe a real estate agent for a real estate concern, whatever it is. Okay? Next, number 8, build an audience. So, create content and social media like what I'm doing right now. I'm going to post this video on YouTube. The idea is that people will see it and it will give value to other people, and I will build an audience which will serve me and it will serve the other people. In my restaurant, when I make a good pizza, let's say you go to a pizzeria, you get your favorite pizza with pepperoni on it or whatever, and you love it. Guess what? You go back. You paid for it, but the obligation of the owner and the creator of that pizza was to give you excellent food and service so that you tell your friends and you go back. So that's what you have to do. You have to, for example, hand out business cards, go on Zoom meetings. You got to pound the pavement, build an audience. When I build a restaurant, we literally go out on foot, either myself or I hire people to go out on foot and visit local businesses with menus and go talk to them. When I'm a musician and I'm playing on the stage, I bring CDs and cards with me. I talk to people. I try to get them on my mailing list or on my social media so that I can stay in touch and build an audience. Again, sign up with Entre Institute and learn how to do all this stuff. That's another way to learn how to build an audience. You'll learn those things. Next, here we go. Know your strengths and industry. Know what you're good at. Are you good with people? Are you good with talking with people? If you're shy, are you good with numbers? Are you good with math? Are you good with the art? And then knowing your industry means, let's say, for example, I'm a musician. I'm a jazz saxophonist. I happen to know that industry is very difficult to make a living in. So I decided to make a choice to go into other industries, and I still play music. Obviously, I have 7 records out, but it's not like I depend on it. But so you have to know that, make the distinction. What's going to be your vocation and what's going to be your avocation? Okay, and focus and realize and understand what your talents and your abilities are and focus on them. I'm going to give you an example of Chet Baker. You may not know who he was, but he was a famous trumpet player. He had all of his teeth knocked out. And as a trumpet player, that's almost impossible to play the trumpet. But he did manage to pick up the trumpet again, and he nursed himself with some support to get back to the point where he was able to play the trumpet. But guess what? He wasn't able to scream on the upper high notes like a lot of trumpet players do. He just couldn't do it because he didn't have the physicality to do it. So what he did is he focused on playing in the lower register of the trumpet, and he dominated in that, and he actually created a beautiful style with that and became known for, that style of playing, and so, out of adversity comes beautiful things. So you have to know your talents and focus on that. Make a circle around all the things that you're good at and focus on those. In my case, I observed my own family, and I looked at that they were in the restaurant business and in real estate. I saw the way they were living, and I thought, hey, you know what? That looks good to me. I see it as a viable business. I'm going to go for that, and I did. So comment below and tell me, what type of industry or business would you like to open or start or get into? Okay, number 10, be positive. I put a picture here of my dad because my dad has been through so many physical problems. He's been sick for a while. He had a kidney transplant about 25 years ago. He's never really gotten back to baseline, but he is a fighter. Anybody that you know about him, that knows him, will say the same thing. I meet people all the time. Your dad is so positive. He's got such a positive energy. He's got, my dad almost died a few times with this whole situation, but he just keeps on fighting. He's got a positive attitude. So catch your negative thoughts and turn them around into positive thoughts. We all have them. If you have a negative thought, stop yourself and say, okay, I'm having a negative thought, and be aware of that. See your thoughts and don't be your thoughts. So be aware that you're having a negative thought and turn it around. So sometimes seemingly bad things are actually good things in disguise. Sometimes something happens. For example, my wife's car broke down. The transmission broke down just a few days ago. We are going to be taking a trip to Florida and driving there from Connecticut. And she was upset about it, rightfully so. And I reminded her, hey, it's a good thing that it happened now than instead of when we were on the way, because it would suck to have your transmission break down on the way to Florida with a Chihuahua in the car and lots of luggage. So you have to turn it around. See what I'm saying? Look for solutions. Don't focus on the problem. Have a trigger phrase that you can help yourself to pull yourself out of negativity. Whenever something bad happens, and they happen all the time, I find myself saying, it's okay, you know what, we'll figure it out. Or, you know what, how are we gonna make lemonade with lemons? So now, what's your phrase? Do you have a phrase? Post it in the comment below. Let me know what's going on. Anyway, stay tuned for some more videos. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, shared, subscribed, ring that bell, and made a comment. I'm really looking to build this business and help people at the same time. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Okay? Thanks a lot.